Hello, you beautiful creatures. I want to thank you for letting us bless your ears with all these conversations we're about to have. And today, we are talking about microtransactions and DLC. Is it an issue, or is it okay?
I wasn't aware of anyone with the name of Michael Transaction.
Listen,
I thought he said
trying.
micro. Did he say micro?
I said micro.
We gotta get a play
I heard
back
micro.
on that.
I heard Michael.
Cut to the clip.
Anyway, my pronunciation's kind of off sometimes. I apologize.
Josh, what are your thoughts?
Anyway,
You're being so polite.
I have to be polite. That's how I am. I'm a very polite person.
That's what he brings to this.
It's not necessarily true.
Okay, let's stop for a second. The only person I'm not really polite to is Manny, and that's his fault.
Josh, how do you feel about microtransactions?
I feel like they have become an issue because, for example, I play 2K basketball. I play that a lot. I've been following it since 2K11, and this year's edition has just the microtransactions actually killed the game for me. And it's like me being dumb, I bought into it, so like I paid like at least $40 to $60 just on the virtual currency, so I can improve my player stats. Because when I'm playing, I don't like to have bad stats. Because if I can't do the things I want to do on the court, it bugs me. I don't have fun. So I feel like that needs to be like at least downplayed a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Was it like you'd pay to literally improve the stats of your players?
Yeah, because pretty much with you have an established character, so you have career mode. You take your my player into career mode, and you also can play online with that my player. So like there's parks where you go out and play with other people, and like if you have bad stats, you're not gonna do well.
Yeah.
They've always had that though in the 2K games, right? It was easier to get your stats like just by playing.
Yeah. Now it's like it's so difficult and it's time consuming.
Pay to win.
And everybody's going to pay to win because
they love the game that much. A player that is willing to throw cash into the game is going to be more viable.
You still need to have some type of skill in order to play, but it's like your stats are already going to be boosted, so it'll make things a bit easier.
Do you use these characters in online play?
Yeah, you do. Because like they have My Park, which is basically like street ball, and you like team up, or you might go one-on-one with somebody. And they also have like a pro-am mode where you have like an actual team, and you play against other teams for virtual currency, what they call it. And like that
doesn't have any virtual currency. Doesn't have any like actual monetary value to it. Like if you were to exchange it somehow. No, right? Okay, no. Just
but lost for a second. It's just like it kind of like I'd rather be in a game where it's like, hey, there are opportunities to get like 2 times XP or virtual currency or something like that, as opposed to me having to put my own money into it. Mm-hmm. Like I already paid $60. Like I don't want to have to put that for the in-game currency when I could just I just want to be able to play the game, play it a lot, and get my stats to where I want them to be without having to like spend more money on the game.
Right.
It's like we're in a state right now where games are released as like a living thing where they're going to constantly add more to it. Like Sea of Thieves, I don't think I would have paid $60. Well, I didn't because I waited. But I don't think you'd pay $60 to play Sea of Thieves in its at release state.
Yeah.
People jumped onto that for the promise of there being more.
It's because, like you said, the buzzword now is games as a service. You're not buying a game. This is the game. It's finished. You are buying a platform from which the devs build. And not to mention, the whole Sea of Thieves is a game where the updates come free. But then you take a game like 2K, where it's a $60 game, and then you have pay-to-win microtransactions. I don't agree with pay-to-win microtransactions, but they're not going anywhere because people buy them, and they are technically necessary because game development costs are going up and up and up and up and up. Yeah. And they're still keeping the price of the game at $60. Sure, there are Ultimate Editions now. But, like, they need to make their money back some way. And my biggest problem is when people take that out on the developers. Because usually it's not the developers, it's the publishers.
Yeah.
It's your EA, it's your Activision. It's not Bungo,
Yeah, I was gonna say, they're sort of like, because I think we all can agree like games is like an art form. You know, walking around and like it's like a visually amazing like experience at times, or awful or whatever, what have you. But like I feel like as you know these publishers or these game companies like Bungie or like you know the two guys that made Cuphead, like they had an idea and they like made this game, and Cuphead kind of was like special because it was like $20 and it was like wow. But and then it's sort of like these bigger industries like okay we need to make like everything, you know, you got to make money. But like I feel like it becomes once it sort of loses that sort of magic, it becomes sort of like we need to monetize this. I feel like a lot of games they go from you know sort of like that niche community that they have, and then they try to broaden it into sort of like a wider audience to sell it to more people, to get more people involved in the experience. Which, you know...
I was going to, like, that just, what you just described to me was, like, the atrocity that happened with Halo 5. Mm-hmm. Where its gameplay is so distant from what Halo's... You know, what made Halo stand out was its uniqueness. And now they're just kind of streamlining it to be, like, this generic sci-fi shooter game where you're sprinting, you're aiming down the sides. You know, it's a very different pace and tone than all the Halos had been before. Like Halo 4 took a step in that direction, but this was a huge step away from what made Halo unique.
I feel like they kind of, I think a lot of like big titles with Bethesda too kind of done the same. Like you played Mass Effect 1. I didn't play Mass Effect 1. I played Mass Effect 2 and 3, and the difference I feel like from 2 to 3 was big, and you could probably speak.
The difference between 1 and 2 was huge.
Yeah, like it was a different game.
It became in 1, which was an RPG where you shot things, and then 2 was essentially a third-person shooter with RPG mechanics.
Yeah, and you know, I loved 2. I thought 2 was the best. I liked the direction they were going there. The combo, like the space magic was the shit. But then, like, a sour sort of experience I had was sort of like, I played the shit out of Skyrim. Don't get me wrong. But I just look back and I'm upset. Because I downloaded Oblivion. I started playing Oblivion. I'm like, damn, this is like the best Bethesda game that I played was probably Oblivion. And they took such a step to make the game easier for people who just wanted to just like go around and just do it, you know? Whereas like Oblivion, you had your one shot leaving the sewers to like pick the things you wanted to be specialized in and like then build your character like that. Now you can just walk around like I want to be good with an axe now, and then you just jerk off with the axe and you're good, you know? But I don't know. I just feel like there's that dumbing down, and in that process, I mean, everyone's played Skyrim. Not everyone's played Oblivion. You know,
I've played Skyrim, bro.
Yeah.
No, you know what?
Yeah, these two.
You know what I hate though is that when like game like a Skyrim, where I know people who bought Skyrim like 10 times over because they want to play on like different platforms.
Yeah.
And it's like, why can't you like? What's the problem with giving the person like letting them buy the game like Microsoft started doing, where you buy the game and you have both PC and Xbox? It's like, what's the problem with that?
That's the thing between companies. Like, you really think Sony's going to be down with, oh, you bought the game for Xbox? Yeah, sure. We'll give it to you for the PlayStation too. That's insane to think of. Yeah. That there would be no benefit to that.
You bought a hamburger at McDonald's?
Get one free burger.
I know.
I just feel like
here's some fries.
I feel like you said that completely wrong. I think you're criticizing the person. Like, why would you buy it for like the PS4 when you already bought it for the Xbox? You know what I'm saying?
They want to get on a different platform.
It's like, but I feel like there's almost little to no difference between the PS4 and the Xbox One.
I know.
Besides exclusives, besides
But I just hear
connection quality at times, and like
I hear people complain to me.
And don't forget willingness to allow cross-platform.
Oh my
play.
god! Yeah.
PC is OP, no question about it.
We're not getting to that right now.
I think it is though.
I'm talking about DLC.
Why do you?
Well, if you want to talk about DLC, what I think the DLC is going through now. It seems like it's going through kind of almost a shift where it's not going more for new content to get, but I'm seeing more games where it's like cosmetic stuff, which I don't mind that.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Which
that
is still like. I hate it, but the community's done to themselves where they just support it by buying it all, so it's kind of already in there. They know people are going to buy it, they're going to keep doing it. But I'd much rather have it cosmetic stuff rather than more content.
I
depends
hate
on
the loot
content.
box system.
I hate it
the
too,
loot
but I'd
box
much rather
system.
have that than saying pay $20 for this new DLC to continue playing the game, or pay money to get skins.
No.
Games feature both of those things, I feel.
I feel like they do one or the
loot
other.
Boxes are not...
Destiny is both.
Loot box...
Oh yeah, they do.
Destiny has loot boxes?
Destiny does have loot boxes.
Eververse.
That's
Yeah.
essentially...
That's not just a loot box. It's just like, oh, I'm going to complete a raid. What am I going to get? Like,
I feel like
Destiny's
Destiny's
you have to
pick
work
over
your ass
and
off
like,
to complete that
Yeah.
loot box. You have to open that loot box. You have to fucking grind your ass off.
Destiny has made it a lot easier to get the things you want, though.
Yeah, but the point being is, in the end, it's still a loot box. I'm saying, I'm saying those things could live together. They do.
They could do, yeah, but
I think what is interesting is when you get, like in Fortnite, there's like a culture.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's like you could play Fortnite and never invest a dime into it.
Yeah.
And like there's no difference. But there's like this weird culture where people like it's like you're better if you have skins and all that. And
Dude,
it's like tangible.
that's CS:GO.
Like it's hit me. It's hit me to a point where like, when I see someone that doesn't have like a bought skin, I'm like, oh, okay. It's they call them no skins, but like to a degree
That sounds really terrifying.
That's not something that's unique to Fortnite. No, that's been a thing for as long as games has had skins as microtransactions.
When I used to play Paragon, my oldest brother who got me into the game would come down and be like, "Yeah, a couple of I got my new skin today," and I'll be like, "Okay."
Even
I don't have that. I don't have that like thought process of like skins. Like skins are cool, but I would never like pay for them.
Like even to a lesser degree, look at Overwatch. Like the difference between having just a base skin tracer on your team versus like
the golden gun,
like the spray paint tracer.
Yeah,
it's like those skins
it's because
equate to having played the
seniority.
game.
It's like if it's not so much now because they made it so that everything's available to you. Golden Guns is more of a
you gotta participate in the comp season. You get a lot more points for
doing well. But at this point,
got the Winston Golden Gun, guys. It's pretty good. It's pretty congrats. Getting me a lot of street cred. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. Anyway. If I could like offer my mindset, because like I'm a little bit different. Like being like I'm much more casual when it comes to video games compared to like all you guys.
Filthy casual.
I am a filthy casual. Like I don't play online. Like I barely own any games, or like at least the games that I used to play. Like I've like grown past because like I had got like new game like
the Monado game or whatever.
Well, no, I even borrowed that from Mike. Like Xenoblade,
mine.
But like
Monado game.
Like I mean, I got the Switch, but like before the Switch, like getting the Switch like a month ago or something. Like the last game I bought was probably like 2013 or something. Like so, I am a filthy casual, or maybe like Smash 4 or something else. But like.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Like
whenever Sun and Moon came out was probably your last game.
Yeah, I have a terrible memory. I could probably like do like a game a year, but like I don't know, just coming out of like
but still one game per year is incredibly casual.
Yeah, but like for me, like in my position, like to think of like I would not want to invest in like a game where I had to keep investing past like the price that you pay originally. And I understand like where Mike's coming from and like the cost of like making a game, like it kind of warrants like the higher price tag, and like it is an interesting thought to like keep playing the game and keep investing in it, but like that's like a turn off for me, and I'm like curious like who is that, like are we at fault like for asking for like more, or like I don't know, like who's like where's the root cause of this, like the root cause of if there is a problem, which like I feel like a good amount of us feel like it's like it is an issue. But like who's causing it? Like, are we as players like demanding more of a game? Like demanding more of developers? Like setting higher
I think
standards.
That's definitely it, because obviously publishers are pushing microtransactions and DLC methods and in the pricing structures of a game like Destiny 2, which we've argued about plenty of times
I was about to bring
on our
up
own
Destiny
things.
2
But ultimately, if we as players did not buy them, they would not be pushing them.
It's true. But and plus we'd see a different way that if we didn't buy expansions, like for example Destiny, we'd see a huge change in how the games that are given to us are made. Destiny, like you could see the way they made Destiny and how they changed it through its lifespan. When Destiny 1 first came out, it was incredibly anti-consumer. so many things about it were just like the RNG was constantly out of your favor, this and that and this and that. And what they would do is as expansions came out, they'd make it a little bit more like, it's gonna be helping us now. It's like they did things to make it feel better. Like I'm trying to think of like a good example, but like it was there.
Well, I think maybe.
I don't think
just
Destiny
now
1
it
was particularly anti-consumer.
You don't think so?
No.
I feel like
At launch, no.
it was empty. It used the promise of new content to keep people in there.
Well, that's how games as a service works.
But that's what I'm saying. Okay, let's view Destiny 2 for instance. It's like the whole shader thing.
I hate that.
Oh my god, that's just like such an unnecessary thing
God.
that exists. In the game.
They do it. It's like now if you want to customize your person, it's a part that matters to a lot of people.
It's essentially I want to be able to dress up my Barbie doll however way I want to.
Yes,
and it's
but
like here's a limited amount of ways you can dress it up.
And then if you
Like,
try to change one day,
Yeah.
you lost everything
You
that
lost
you just had, and
it.
especially like the really rare ones that you can only get like 4 of, but you need 5.
Let's just explain. For instance, in this game, you don't choose how to color your armor. You have these things called shaders that previously in Destiny 1 were once you unlocked it, you could just switch between them as you like. But now in Destiny 2, they made it so that it is a consumable. So you'd be given 5 at a time. So if you said, I want to experiment this, and this, and you've run out of those 5, you better hope you find another 5 or something, because you can't use it anymore. So what it did is it took a system that worked fine previously, just having shaders that it was hard to unlock. Once you did, you had it. And now we made it so that it's like now you had to work for it.
And that's like a very conscious decision to do that.
It is an anti-consumer system. And now I'm hearing that
you're throwing around anti-consumer, but I think in this case, giving that most of the shaders, except for the Eververse shaders, which do sort of are behind like a system that you can pay for. Most of these shaders you just earn through playing. Having an incentive
good ones you don't. The good ones you
there
don't.
Are plenty of
Karios
good
Bronze. How many times have you gotten Karios Bronze? That shit's the best shit.
That's just ones from Mercury packages.
I don't get them. All I know is
I've gotten a couple.
All I know is I don't get
enough. But that's a whole question of like RNG loot systems.
Mm.
But like giving an incentive, I prefer the Destiny 1 system.
Yeah.
But giving an incentive for people to play is not anti-consumer when you can earn these by just playing. Anti-consumer is saying all your shaders.
I think it's
you now have to pay.
I think you may earn them by playing. I think that's an important distinction because of the RNG that's in there.
Yeah,
you may get.
But that's a whole other discussion. Well, actually, no, it's not. It's not a whole other discussion because then you do have to consider that for Eververse shaders, you do pay for a chance to unlock what you want.
Okay, so the
you're
ultimate
going
point
you're going from a guarantee to a not.
So
guarantee.
So the point being, we agree. Going from the Destiny 1, once you have it, it's yours.
It's just an annoying thing.
It is. It's annoying, and that's what I'm saying. So now, but look what's happening. In the next expansion, the Forsaken, was it?
Yeah.
They're taking away that system, right? They're changing it.
No.
I thought
there was something that they changed.
They're changing the shader system. I thought
not with shaders.
They're just allowing bulk shader deletion.
Yeah, bulk shader deletion. That was the change that we were thinking about.
Okay, so with an expansion, they're doing something that's like, I feel like with even a minimum amount of R&D, they could have picked up on. They wait for expansions to bring people back. Mm-hmm. It's clear that like games as a service. They gimp you temporarily.
I feel like they hold back, and then once because there's that wave of like fanfare. I feel like so the game comes out. It could be intentional. It could not be. I feel like it's something to also say that it's sort of like not everything is there, and then people play it. I've played the shit out of it for like 2 weeks. I like beat the game in 2 weeks, and I beat the game. It was like I've done everything I could have done like in 2 weeks, and then they kind of revitalize it by saying like, and now here's this. Oh, it's like now I'm going back to the game. Like when was the last time you played Destiny 2?
Hasn't been a couple weeks.
And when the Destiny 2 DLC comes out, which I'm pretty sure you're gonna buy, right?
Yes.
Oh,
I plan on buying.
Yeah, you're going right back to it. And it's like that's the like I did Destiny 2, and I'm not buying the DLC, unfortunately, because we don't have, like, the group, whatever.
Our numbers have dwindled.
Our numbers have dwindled, so it's like, unless you got 6, it's hard to play.
I honestly wish I hadn't gone.
I wish, I remember after Destiny 1, I was like, I'm not getting Destiny 2, guys. Mike talked me into it.
It's because it's a fun game.
It's a fun game, and I did have fun playing it for those like 2 weeks, and then the 2 weeks later on.
It's like we gotta ask ourselves, in the end of all of this, money is going to be different to us now.
Yeah.
No, for like as we are 20, 21.
We're the ones buying the games.
We're going to start making money now.
Yeah.
We're going to start making money. Money is not going to be just something that comes to us from like a part-time job or from Christmas, birthdays, whatever.
Yeah.
However you make your money, we're going to start seeing the value of the dollar.
Mm-hmm.
So what the question is?
Do you think?
I think I'm kind of concluding this to a degree, unintentionally. But I'm saying like, do you think that the value of the dollar, with how you're learning to find it, are these games giving you enough for it?
It depends what the game is. Because, like, there's certain games where it's like, I love this game. I'd pay whatever to get whatever DLC, like, expansion for that game because I want to keep playing this. Like, if I already did everything, there's very few games where it's like, yeah, I've done everything. I don't want to go back to that. So, like, you put on an expansion, I'll probably buy it so I can play the game more. But it really depends on the game with me.
You know what I want to say? Because the whole expansion thing, I wanted to say something before, but I was holding back. The whole, like, the interesting thing is like the fear of missing out kind of drives players to buy. Because I feel like I had the first 2 DLC because I spent the $80 on the Destiny 2 when it came out.
Yeah,
but it's like you see, like, here's the strikes that you can do, and then here's the other strikes that you can do if you had the DLC, but you can't do it because you don't have it. And you see in Fortnite, it's like, here's the experience that you earned. Here's the experience you would have earned with the Battle Pass. Or, like, here's the things you could have earned. And it's like, fuck you. It just makes me upset that I have to pay for it personally, because it's like, damn, I have the game, and now I don't have the other half of the game, or the other portion of the game. Yeah. It's like, but I have it. So I guess that's what makes me upset.
I get you. It bothers me too, but it's like
it is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what
I
it
like
is.
Tom said, it's about how much you value your own dollar. I think, personally, games, especially DLCs, are some of the most valuable things you can buy for $20. You go to the store, you go to Target, you look at the Blu-ray section, like new releases.
Do you think Osiris was worth it?
A Blu-ray is like $20.
Mm.
And I think Osiris was $20 too.
Yeah.
A Blu-ray, you're gonna watch once, put it back on the shelf.
Yeah.
How much more fun did we get from these expansions for the same price?
Yeah, that's why I really want.
There was like 4 missions in Osiris, maybe, and it was hardly interesting.
You also have to know we haven't even done everything that there is to do
in Osiris.
Yeah, we haven't beat the raid layer.
We
haven't done all the verses. We haven't gotten like. It's easy to say, oh, it's not worth it, but we're not available to do the whole scope of the content.
Yeah, I get that.
It'd be a lot easier if we had 6 people. Which,
so you're telling me I should go spend $60 on Pokemon Quest?
If you think your $60 will lead to probable enjoyment.
I'm joking. It's a terrible game.
Why would you spend?
But I look at
what is Pokemon Quest?
Pokemon Quest is that's
what is that? I'm looking for a new mobile
Let's look at something like Forsaken, which I think the base Forsaken price is $40. So it's essentially buying Osiris and Warmind again.
Mm.
And now the most comparable thing I can make is to the Taken King in Destiny 1.
Yeah.
And when I think of how much the Taken King extended Destiny 1, I think $40, yeah. Sure.
It's honestly, Taken King was one of the wildest things from Destiny.
It literally made a whole other game out of it.
Yeah.
Almost.
My voice just cracked.
It's kind of like it sounds like a case-by-case basis.
But the interesting part about it was in the case of Destiny 1.
It's the RNG of DLC.
It's the You're not just paying.
That's the name of the episode.
DLC is loot boxes, and loot boxes are DLC.
And I think it also becomes increasingly harder to justify spending $40 on a Forsaken, even though, personally, it's justified to me when there's a game like Sea of Thieves, where it's we'll just update it for free.
Yeah.
I love that. I personally love that.
And I think
they've got to be doing. I feel like there's gonna be a twist in that
They at launch said that they were planning on microtransactions, things like pets and stuff like
But
that.
it's all aesthetic
But
and cosmetic. Nothing.
When there was a huge outcry at launch for there not being enough content, they switched their plans from a lot of things like captaincy and microtransactions to those sort of weekly events that we've been getting.
I love that too. I think Sea
It's
of
like-
Thieves right now is probably, for me, is one of my
It is-
favorite games right now.
Like we were saying before, like what is worth your dollar, and it's like I think Sea of Thieves is. You guys say it's not worth $60, but I think it totally is because you're saying how some games get boring after so long because it gives you a direct mission to do, and then after that there's literally nothing else. But Sea of Thieves gives you nothing to do. You can go around and do no. It doesn't give you a
gives you a
straight
world.
deadline.
It
It gives
gives
you
you
a
a
whole
world.
world
It
and your
gives you a
mind to do
sandbox.
whatever you
Yeah.
want to do.
It's a good sandbox
There's
game.
no quest saying do this, and then after this there's nothing else. You've done the whole
I
game.
agree. That's
You
what
go
it's
into the
very
world. You can
strong
play with a
suits.
group of people. You can go in a game chat and talk to a whole bunch of random guys you never met before, all the way in a different country, and just do whatever with them. You can go hop on their boat, hop on your boat,
Ivan was
do
saying he
missions
was
with them
with
and
the
play
two
with them for
Arab
the whole
guys
forever.
during the thrones on
Yeah.
their ship.
or
Like,
you can go along and kill them, or you can go along, make friends with them, betray them. You can.
I agree with you. It offers an experience unlike a lot of games, but I think when people say it's not worth the $60, I think they mean in the sense where the it's a huge pool, but it's just not a deep pool.
mhm.
Yeah,
It's about knee deep.
I didn't want to pay $60.
But I feel
Like,
like
it has two
I
guns.
feel like you can
it
make
has
it-
two boats.
you can make it deeper. They give you
can.
shovels in the game now.
See,
Dig the hole.
as opposed
What
to
do
a
shovels
game.
do? What do shovels do? They like it's very like the physics of the game are very.
What do shovels do?
No, I'm
What-
I was
trying
talking
to.
about my
What do you-
metaphorical
I'm
shovel.
trying to like understand what like metaphor you were leading into.
Okay. Like Jordan saying they give us shovels. My brain instantly went to like Breath of the Wild, where like the game was like the physics. There's so much to it, even though there was like technically everything was just like a sword. Everything you had was just a sword. Everything was just like a tool. Like, there wasn't a lot there, but like there was so much physics. But like in this game, the physics isn't that crazy. There's just two boats. There's just like 3-4 weapons. Like there's not a lot of diversity of things.
But
like there's
like
deep.
every tool and item has their main use, and they have other minor uses with them that they didn't say head on. But it's like you discover these little uses throughout the game, and then like with this,
like what? Give me an example.
Well, the bucket
you
of
have
water. You
bucket
need
of
to
water.
also
You
fight
can
the skeletons.
you can fight the skeletons with it. You can make your whoever's drunk around on your boat. Jordan and I just tested.
Yeah,
it. We learned
yeah.
this
You
literally
actually
just
sober
yesterday.
them up and
You can
splash
sober
water.
people up by jumping in the water, throwing a bucket of water on them. You have your music to play to like soothe animals or to the cursed chest that Mike and I just discovered the
That
other day.
was
The
a
one
cool
that
thing,
cries.
yeah.
If you
Yeah.
play becalmed, it calms down. It stops crying to sink your boat.
I feel like Sea
You
of
have-
Thieves has these little things that are. Because I remember you talking about. It's funny you talk about Breath of the Wild because I remember you talking about like, oh, like this just worked. Like the way Breath of the Wild was kind of like there's a game I want to play so bad, but I want to play so bad, but I don't have the Switch and I don't have the game. But from what you guys have described, it's like it just makes sense.
Yeah.
Like everything just makes sense. And Sea of Thieves, I think, kind of has a little bit of that in it, where it's like, oh, like, you know, of course, like I can charm a snake with like my music, or like there's certain little things like, oh, that just kind of makes sense that it worked, and that's what's kind of set. That's a little taste of Breath of the Wild in that game.
Yeah.
I feel like.
I think a lot of the reason why people think Sea of Thieves isn't worth it because they were looking at how they get their content differently. They were thinking Sea of Thieves is a sandbox game where you sort of make your own stories using the voyages and things. It's just sort of like reasons to go from point A to point B, and along the way, that's when you actually make your story. Whereas Breath of the Wild it's an RPG.
Yeah.
You go there, you have missions, you have side quests, you have all this stuff, and the content is doing all this stuff. But the content of Sea of Thieves is what you make of it. So I think for people who expected it to be more of like an RPG, I keep banging my hand on the table.
It's okay.
It's not, though.
I was like,
Put
I didn't
my
know
hand
that
in.
he's talking all the time. Just slap the little fish on the table.
I think people just didn't really understand what the game was.
Yeah.
They didn't understand what
Yeah.
the game was.
Honestly, personally, I didn't like from a gameplay standpoint. Like
What didn't you like
sword fighting
about
in
it?
the game in the guns? I'm not a huge fan of how it plays in that respect.
Well, you're a fighting game guy too.
It's not even that. It's just like
What,
when I want a sword.
that's true.
When I want a sword fight with somebody, I want it to like look like an actual sword fight. I want to feel like I'm actually holding a sword, not just flailing something around.
It depends who you're fighting. If
You
it
are-
depends
No, it's not. No, I'm
sword
no,
fighting is
if you
awful.
fight, no, if you
Sword
fight
fighting is-
intent, if you
Boom, that guy that killed our entire boat, he did the sword swipe. He was there. He wasn't there. I was dying from behind. I was like, couldn't turn around fast enough. I was like, this is trash. Screw this.
I fought some really good people that could
It's
last,
not- it's
make
not
the
even
fight
that
last
thing
a
what I'm
long
talking-
time. You just have to use the mechanics that the game gives to you.
But the style that they have, like Skyrim, I'd rather. Like,
Skyrim
like
is the
that.
worst sword fighting.
But then
Skyrim
think about-
does not
of
feel like
any
holding a
game.
sword. That's just
That is the same.
Okay,
You're
thing.
doing this.
Let me
dude.
Yeah.
stop.
You're doing this.
I'm trying
Do you
to.
see-
I'm trying to find an example.
My finger is
of
going
what I
like
mean.
this.
He's
I'm sure clarifying like
It's
this
a
was
wiggling,
just
I'm
painted.
waggling. Go ahead.
I can't. I'm trying to think of another example, but it's like
For honor.
for honor.
That's a
I'm looking
fighting
for
game.
something
But if-
more, not exactly like that, but in terms of like how the movements are and how the sword, how you actually use the sword and things like that. That's what I'm more looking for as
Maybe like
opposed to just
Assassin's
like.
Creed. You play Assassin's
But I feel like if
Creed.
the game like that where it has so much other stuff that it's not all about fighting, if you were to focus the game too much on the fighting side, it would kind of
Becomes a
everything else would
different
be
game.
everything else would kind of have lack of like they wouldn't put as much effort into it, or it probably wouldn't show off
I
as
mean,
much.
the
Well,
Sea of Thieves water is the best water I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Imagine if they had a cohesive fighting system.
I think-
that water would be downgraded. Do you understand that? You'd be trading good water.
Do we have to trade? Like, it's like the water shouldn't affect something like that. I'm not saying I'm
Dev time
asking.
is dev time.
I'm not
For
asking.
every hour that
I-
dev is.
I'm not saying I want For Honor and Sea of Thieves.
I want For Honor and Skyrim. That's what I want.
Yeah, that would be cool. But
Why don't you just mash those two games together and just make the most ultimate game? Is it just too
Because
hard?
it's easier not-
It's just too hard.
it's easier to just release Skyrim before the time and make the money back.
Yeah. I
Like,
don't know.
tenfold for like whatever minimal effort was put into the port.
That's true.
The point being that I kind of agree with Josh. Not like I love Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I think it could have been more.
I feel like it's just the style of the game as well. Like to make too
I
much
would
of a
like the style
fighting,
in general.
too much of a serious fighting like mechanic for the game. I feel like would not suit
more as
well.
in like what? Like besides the fighting, what do you say?
I'd say I think it needed more either like tools. I think it needed maybe like more environments,
Mhm.
maybe more ships, maybe more encounters.
I don't. I definitely
There's
like
in the end there's one
four
there's
people
one
only. I don't like
there's
that.
one enemy with different ways to fight them, which is it. Like that was a really great thing they did. Like with the gold skeletons, with the shadow skeletons. Like that's great because it means you have different ways to fight them. But in the end, it feels like I don't
Not
know.
worth $60 at launch, like you said.
Yes,
But now is a great time to buy because they're
because
adding.
you could find it for
Even-
$30.
Well, they're adding even more stuff now too.
Yeah.
And like all the things you just addressed, they added the speaking horn, they added the drum, they
yes.
they added more enemies.
Yeah, you can see all the wheels and like when you go to your
There-
cosmetics,
there-
like, there's so many empty stuff that
there's-
they're
Well, you
going
see
to
the
add.
fact
But I
that
understand that
there's-
it's not there
like-
yet. Yeah, they should have
It's not
added
there
it
yet.
before.
They knew that they. I guess it's like they knew they were going to add more. But it's like, what is a drum?
But that see.
What is a drum
You're
going to be doing
thinking.
in the game?
You are thinking. I think the thing here is you're paying $60 for a base game. You're not paying $60 for a base game. You're paying $60 for a platform that will consistently get
Yeah.
updated.
Yeah, that's the whole.
You're paying to support the game
Yeah, I
and to
wouldn't-
like say
I'm not-
like I
I'm
want
not
more. from
Like
this.
I feel like for the base game, there has to be more to the base game
You're
in
also-
terms of gameplay or something.
But you're not
like that.
buying a base game. You're buying a platform.
You're also
You've already
yeah, I'm not
spent
gonna buy
money
a
on
platform
all
then.
the. Like
No.
they're offering these updates for free.
I would be
You
pissed
buying
if
into the
updates
game
weren't free.
is
I'd be
essentially
pissed if it was
securing your spot.
Yeah,
Just
no,
at
I'm
the
not.
platform at this time.
I'm not down with that.
I don't know. You're also paying $60. Like if you got it at launch, like you're paying $60 for like you don't know what they're gonna add.
Yeah. that's
Like
true.
you're
It's a
banking on
gamble.
them
Yeah.
adding stuff that you want to make the game better.
Yeah,
I think
no.
that's
Which,
fair,
like,
yeah.
Which is like, you know, you just have to like pick your time. Like when have they like given us like what you've wanted?
Like, look at tragedies
Like Street Fighter.
like No Man's Sky.
What about Street Fighter?
Dude,
Street Fighter, they released it only because so people could prepare for the tournaments. They didn't have no arcade mode. Didn't have that many fighters. It didn't have a story mode. It had none of that. It was just
The
basically
amount of fighters was fine.
Well,
That wasn't the issue. It was the fact that there was no proper.
it wasn't a full game.
Yeah, but they gave all that in updates free along the way.
But like season 3, like how much is that to get the season 3 pack characters? Like $30.
Yeah. But it's like with fighting games, it's like if I like the fighting game, I'm not opposed to putting down money to get more.
Couldn't they like break it up though, like Smash does, where you could just like pay for the characters you want?
Yeah.
You
like
can do that.
I have to pay $30 if I just want to play Cody.
And just recently, what they did is they released Street Fighter V Arcade Edition,
Yeah.
which it's the same game. It's like what they used to do is they used to update the game. You spend this amount of money, and then you have like a new version of the game. What they're doing now is essentially they're just repackaging the game. You buy it; it's $40 now. It comes with season 1 and 2.
Yeah, but then you still have to pay $30 for season 3.
Well, yeah,
But,
season 3 isn't even over
also,
yet.
they do have in-game currency where it's like if you play the game enough, you could just.
Yeah,
buy
but how
the
much do you have to
character
grind for that though?
I mean, it depends how good you are.
Well, I'm a filthy
Everyone
casual.
knows.
And there it comes into where it's like, that reminds me of what we were talking about before.
The value.
The value of money versus the value of your time putting into it. In Fortnite, you could technically get V-Bucks. But it's at such a slow and atrocious rate.
Painfully slow rate.
You're not going to be getting it. Like once you invest, like, if you put $10 in, you could not need to do it anymore. But then they get you because you need to play a lot to afford the next season's pass.
How much is a battle pass in Fortnite?
You see, that's another way they get you. You don't pay for the battle pass. You have to pay for the money. You know what I'm saying? You pay for the money,
And then you buy like the battle pass with the V-Bucks.
No.
Yeah, and then usually it's not an equal
I know
transaction.
Oh my god, what a process.
But it's not that. It's like, I think it was like,
I'm just
I
saying,
think-
that's a smart idea.
I think you have
Because then what they do is that they have two different
And
packs.
it's
One
like-
that's slightly cheaper where you won't afford it, but one that's a little more, so you're
It's-
spending more money.
And,
to
you know what it reminds- it's like getting someone a gift card for a fucking birthday. It's like I'm going to give you a $10 gift card to Cheesecake Factory, Mike, let's say.
Okay.
You know what you could get for $10 at Cheesecake Factory?
No,
Like,
I don't.
Fucking nothing. Like fucking nothing, Mike. Like, I think the least expensive thing is like $11. So what I'm saying is, here's
A reason to go.
Here's a reason to spend at least $1 at Cheesecake Factory. So what they're saying is, when you buy something, there it's like you're gonna have like $150 left over. So now you're gonna have $150, and you're gonna say, well, you know what? If I had $10 more, I could get that skin. You know what I'm saying? Like whenever they put like these improper
The prices
pricing.
are very
Street
popular.
Fighter actually
People
does something
want
like
it.
that. Like a lot of costumes will cost $4.99, or no, $3.99. But the minimum amount you can fund your PlayStation wallet is
It's
$5.
Yeah.
So I'll buy a skin and be like, then I'll have $1 left over, and it's like,
Right.
well, now it's $1 cheaper on the next skin I buy.
Like
Yeah.
that has got to be like a psychological
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, it definitely is.
You don't, because you have the money in there. What are you gonna do with it?
You
What
can't
else are
take it
gonna
out
do?
now. It's in there. It's in there. You like
So you're gonna either like, okay, I'm gonna either spend like, oh yeah, and it says like, like you can't choose what you want to get in Fortnite. Like in the marketplace, it's like the deals last only a certain amount of time. Because you're like, I want the skin, I don't have enough money for it. I have to buy some things to get it. You know, like little things like that. Like it's amazing what these developers do to get you to spend your money. Amazing.
And Fortnite is one of the rare occasions where the developer is also the publisher. So it is complete like that. That's one of the few cases where you can like blame the developer.
But you know what? I think Fortnite is an incredible game. Now, okay, you know what? I get furious at it. You guys heard me this morning screaming at it. Or, yeah, that was this morning.
Yeah, that was this morning.
But the point being is, I think the
You
way
can
they
always
act.
pick up and play Fortnite
Yeah.
in a way that is new and refreshing.
Yeah, because they update all the time.
Yeah.
They constantly, like, they add shit, like, every week. And I'm just going to be tooting my horn about Fortnite. I know it's, like, not a perfect game, but I just think I really respect the developers for how they treat it
It's
sometimes.
a free game that actually has a lot there, as opposed to just like
You
a
know-
typical free-to-play game.
I just want to plug something. Paragon was a great game. I've had my ups and downs with it.
Dude, I was waiting on what the box.
I've
but
bitched
I'll
to
go
you
next.
guys about how awful Paragon was and how like they changed and they made it awful. But that was an amazing MOBA. And as soon as Fortnite got big, they took that MOBA out behind the barn and they capped him right in the back of the head. But like, it was an amazing game, and they just completely scrapped it because Fortnite was making them so much money. And I feel like you can't blame. It's like, it's that like prize pony. You're not going to keep the sick pony around if this one's winning you money or whatever. But like, Paragon was such a good game and such a good turn for MOBAs. Like, it was like a vertical. It was just a good MOBA. I don't want to go into that too much, but it was a good MOBA, and I'm upset at Fortnite, and that's why every time I play it, I'm just like, this game. It's because they took away a great game to get that.
I hate when games do it when they like update something and it just absolutely destroys it.
It did.
When we played War Z. And
Oh
they
my
added Punk
God.
Buster in.
Don't even talk
and they
about
like updated the.
I couldn't play the game because they
updated the graphics and everything, and it made the game run awful.
Yeah.
Well,
that was a scam right out the gate. So like 90% of other zombie games.
But the game was like there's like the movement, and everything was so basic and all about it, and just
wasn't there some game that was exactly like it that was not a zombie game, and somebody just took it and added zombies into it, and like. I heard about this. So it was something that was like cheap or was free or something like that.
They had the company that made that had a shooter.
No, Survivor Infestation Diaries, which was
War Z, but no, they had an actual like shooter game, which was literally like the same character.
It was the same character.
It was a shooter, but then they just like took it made it into an open world and added zombies into it. Yeah. But it worked so well. Like everything was so basic about the game.
I did have fun on that game, but.
Yeah,
it just was.
Once they did that update, it destroyed it. They added like I tried going in one day. They added like 1,000 zombies to just a town, and so as soon as you like get out of the woods and see houses and the zombies render in, you go from like 70 frames to like 5 in like 2.5 seconds, and you go from like standing on one end of the building to like the other side of town, and a horde of zombies is killing you, and you're just like, what happened?
Well, that's a bad game. That's a generally bad game.
But it's just like another game that died to an update.
Yeah.
That they thought they could fix it.
How much have you spent on Fortnite at this point?
Just the initial investment of $10.
The battle pass lasts between seasons?
No, but you like they give you V-Bucks more frequently in the gold
when you
battle
buy
pass. But basically, when you get a battle pass, there's like you could rank up in it from like doing challenges, and like you get very frequently V-Bucks. So like and bunches of 100. So. You just got to get like 10 of those to afford the next seasons. So when season 4 ends and next season 5 starts in a couple weeks, because like season 10, they have like 10-week intervals, and this past week was week 10. So I think they're going to be starting the next season very soon. I think July 12th is the last day of this season. They're going to be doing season 5. I'll be ready for that one without having to invest money.
What do you guys think about esports?
I'm not an esports person.
I don't.
We should make a team. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Oh
the closest thing to esports I watch is fighting games.
Any games.
Like Evo.
With that kind of attitude, you're not.
Like I'm not.
We're currently not good at any games. What game would you?
I'm pretty good at Overwatch. He's pretty good at For Honor. We're both pretty good at Sea of Thieves.
But like, what's
that together and bam, we're good at CS:GO.
What's pretty good? You're what, plat?
Yeah, I'm high plat. But on an Xbox.
But like that's not bad. But that's not esports good.
I know. I'm just saying.
But you just need a little more practice.
The thing is, I'm not the weakest link on all the teams that I play on. So imagine if you had. I'm just gonna say my base skill level for Overwatch. This is on the console. This is not PC Overwatch. There's a huge difference for whatever reason. Imagine if you had a team of 6 Jordans.
Oh no, I know.
I'm not talking about Michael Jordan. I'm talking about this one right here. Like that would be. I would say an amateur tournament team for the console.
You see, I feel like the issue with what you're saying is that Overwatch.
You're
weighing yourself individually.
It's a very team-based game, and imagine if not just 3 people on the team were good. Imagine if everyone that's what happened. That's why I got placed kind of higher up, is because of their new matchmaking system where you can matchmake for a 6-stack. And the people who are looking for 6-stacks are normally either trolls or pretty good. And there's a new rule where you can like enforce roles. So when you sign up for a team, you choose 2 tanks, 2 healers, 2 DP or switcheroos. and it enforces that role of that player. So I can only choose tanks. So normally the first game you join in with a team, they say, okay, we're going to do enforce roles to start to make sure you're not going to pick Hanzo when you set him a healer role. And for everyone at home, Hanzo is a trash character sometimes when, the little youngins come in and pick Hanzo. But anyway, so it's like, it allows for sort of like, to earn that trust and to say like, okay, this is a good team, we're going to move forward with this, and then allow the roles to open up because you need that like triple DPS or the triple healer combo. But it's like, I don't know, I just feel like, what was the point of this all?
Like an esports team.
You're justifying why you could be an amateur esports team.
I feel like that was not the original question. I feel like that was not the original.
Esports.
I love esports. I love it.
I think it's cool.
I love it. I think watching, like I recently watched a video about whoever the hell the guy is with the glasses on Overwatch. What's his name?
Faker.
No. He's not a player, but the guy who's like, hey, Overwatch fans. And
Jeff.
Jeff.
Oh.
I saw a video of like people talking about like what they were trying to do with the Overwatch League. And it was just like, it just was so pure. Like I had no experience with like esports watching like fighting games or anything like that. But it's like, it creates sort of that celebrity and like that sort of, like, people root for their home team type of thing.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wow, this is great. That this isn't necessarily like a DLC that they're adding to the game, but it's an extension, like a direct extension or an add-on to the game. I've turned on Overwatch and I've just clicked on like, Overwatch League Live. I just clicked on that. I spent like time just watching.
Yeah.
Sable be like snipe and be like, this guy's an animal, or like Jonak. Every time I watch, Jonak is an amazing Zenyatta player. Every time I watch him play, I'm like, wow. And I go and I play Zenyatta. I'm like, I'm just trying to like copy his amazing ability. But it's like, I don't know. To me, watching esports, it's like better than actual sports.
I think it's like my uncle. He's like a coach for like his son in baseball and football and all those sports. And what they do is they watch professional sports and they say, and he like tells them, watch what he's doing, watch how he's pivoting with his foot, watch how he's like driving with his arm and all that. They look at what people do best, and it's like with esports, I understand why. Like if you want to get better, it's like it's a great feeling to just sort of have that kind of media.
Watch that coach
before you like get any game. Really, just watch everything before and see and get a gist of how to play it. And like watching other people play.
Spoil yourself?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Before I'm gonna buy something, I want to know what it's
This
like.
is the guy who wants to know everything about a raid before we do it.
Because I want to go in something like I don't want to sit there for...
that's just the type of person you are. And in the end, we say, like Manny, where are we going?
And before like even just buying a game, before I buy a game, I want to see what it's like.
Yeah.
And like how it plays.
It's just cool because like with online gaming and streaming and esports, like it just creates a better sense of community where like you're not just playing against another gamer tag. You're playing against someone who's in the same community who loves Overwatch or whatever game you're playing. And like you could watch people and like get better, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Like just like Dom said with like other sports. Like you can turn on ESPN or like whatever network and like you could watch LeBron James and like try to get better at basketball, or you could watch like whoever the best Overwatch player is.
Jonak on Zenyatta is
arguably.
every role.
and you could like root for that person. It's just cool. It kind of like humanizes it.
Yeah. But I think the downside of it is you see these incredible metas form, these like unbeatable, blockable metas form that you don't necessarily see at sort of the lower levels of games. I don't know, for fighting games where it's like there's obviously the tier list. And that's developed from like people just like grinding out these characters and like almost realizing like, wow, this one
has like so little lag that we could exploit this. And
it's just
like, all
much
the other
better.
Characters, it's better from that, and now we could do this. So there'll be a higher tier level.
And then for Overwatch particularly, and probably for other games, they develop updates for the game almost based off of that meta to bust up that meta. And you saw it in the Brigitte update, which sort of busted up the whole Tracer meta, which she was like
the dives and all that.
Every team had somebody to play Tracer. Like every team had built their entire team composition around the one guy who could play Tracer and break up the teams. And like it's just interesting to kind of like it's like, oh man, like I never was into Tracer, but like Now I have
use
to
her.
now I have to deal with like this hero that was designed specifically to destroy Tracer, or it's like other things like that. And you deal with sort of like the unbalanced things that come out that are balancing a much higher level to the game.
Because Brigade is bullshit.
Brigade is bullshit. That's why our name starts with B.
I think when it comes to fighting games, there is a meta, but I feel like
Do they tend to bust it up when they realize that? Like, do they nerf characters or?
here and there, it really depends on how.
There are definitely balance patches. It's
Yeah.
not. There are obvious tiers, but I think tiers are vague. There are characters who are better than others.
Yeah, it really. I feel like it really depends when it comes to fighting games. It depends on the player because there is going to be a meta, but I feel like a player can
like Donkey Kong
deal with that.
Excuse me. Donkey Kong. Like, who's playing Donkey Kong at like the high level? Like
no one, because Sheik is so much better. But then you find out that Donkey Kong is really good at spiking people or something. So then a lot of people will hate Donkey Kong. And then you get weird vacuums where it's like you get a character that's not bad, but because he doesn't see place in the high level meta, people don't tier him well, and then
you see it with
buff
card
him.
games too, right? Card games. There's an obvious meta to like certain card, like,
and that's why I don't play card games.
Yeah, that's why it's hard to put the card
Josh,
games.
you love
Josh,
card
you
games.
would give it a whole different spiel.
We gotta talk about
Yeah,
card games.
that could be another topic, but I think we've like.
Yeah,
I think we could go longer.
We
but
scripted
like,
well. We scripted well.
yeah.
I think it's time to crack this.
The outro.
Crack the
The
outro.
intro out. The intro out. You mean?
yeah, sure. Josh,
So,
want
Josh?
to take that?
I'm doing the outro. Okay,
Dude,
let's do the
It's the outro in. I mean, the
Outro
intro
in.
out. What am I saying? Outro out.
Intro out.
Outro out.
It's the outro.
There's no
the
intro.
outro.
It's just outros.
Once again, I want to thank you guys for listening.
Oh wait, do we want to wrap it up? Like, how do you feel about the actual topic?
Well, I don't think it was like it was as like concrete, like yes or no.
No,
or, like,
yeah, so
it was just like discussing our
Okay.
thoughts.
Okay.
Josh, put
Withdraw
this
that.
put this behind the barn and shoot it in the skull.
So once again, for like the third time, I'm going to thank you guys for listening. Be sure to. I hate saying this.
Then don't.
Yeah.
Then
Don't.
just don't
I
say
don't-
it.
Don't
Yeah, you know what?
necessarily.
Yeah. Don't like it. Don't subscribe.
Yeah, don't. I don't want.
You can leave now.
I don't want money.
Close the
Just
close the app.
Don't
that-
support us on
take
Patreon.
that
If Josh doesn't want the money, like and
Julius,
subscribe and
shut
give
up,
me
man.
the
No
money
one likes
instead. I'll
you.
take
Take
the
that
credit.
cursor.
There's gonna be a bunch of people
Put it in
that
the
say,
top
"Hey,
right of the
who's this
screen
kid?
and
No
click
one
the
likes
X."
him. Get him off the podcast."
Which one?
I like
This
Manny.
one.
I'm grown to like Manny.
I
the
am
past
the
couple
soul
days.
and
You know
heart and
what?
soul.
I think that's another topic for another day.
Do we like Manny?
Do you
Yeah.
like
No,
Manny? Yes or no?
is there a Manny in every friend group?
I hope
There
not.
probably
I
is.
Is
This
there a
guy.
Manny in all of us?
No.
No.
The
got a
answer to
movie,
that
Joe.
question.
Is in the next
Stay
episode.
tuned.
Stay tuned for a season or two, because who knows when we'll come back to that. I'll catch you in the next one.
Where did that go?
I don't know,
Fishing
but
up the
Where did
outro.
that go?